What did you like doing best as a child?
I used to like to play out. We played out all the time. It was fine. We used to play in the back streets. We used to go and play in the woods. We used to go and play by the canal. We used to go catching tiddlers in the canal. We used to play hide and seek in the bushes. We went out in the morning, and when we felt hungry, we came home. When it was bad weather, I used to like to play indoors with my friends, playing at nurses and doctors and things like that, or sewing or knitting or painting or craning or cutting and sticking, all sorts of things like that.
What was your house like when you got married?
When I first got married, my house was a mess. We had water on, we had gas, but we had no electricity, and we came straight back from our wedding to our home. There wasn't a room in it that was fit to live in. We just stayed up in the bedroom. I put some curtains up. This was because we hadn't had time to get it ready. The first night we were in that house, we had no lavatory. We had to use a bucket. And in the morning, my new husband, who was a plumber, put a toilet in. We had no sink. I did the washing up in a red plastic bowl. It was very, very rough. We didn't come downstairs until the first Christmas, and we had our first Christmas downstairs. We had to light the house before the electricity was put in with lamps that you lit. We had no carpets. It was terrible. We just had to start from nothing. But we're still there now. After 50 years, we're still in the house, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's perfect now, after all that work.
Did you make any things for yourself for your house?
Yes, I made all my own clothes. Well, most of them, because you couldn't go to Marks and Spencer's and buy things, or shops like that. They didn't sell them. I made my own blouses. I used to buy a paper pattern, cut out the material, sew it up on a sewing machine. Used to knit my own jumpers and mend clothes. I used to mend everything. We didn't throw things away. If your socks got a hole in them, you mended them. I made curtains for the house when I got married. I went to a shop and bought the material, got the sewing machine out and made my own curtains, because you couldn't get ready-made curtains in those days. But it was fun.
Did your granny or mum teach you any craft skills?
I can't really remember. I think Mother must have taught me how to knit, but I don't know how I found out. We did a lot of sewing at school. We did sewing and knitting at school. In fact, I've brought a sewing bag, the one that, where have I put it? This is a sewing bag that we put round our waists and kept our sewing in it. All the girls made one of these, like Kathleen said. That isn't mine, of course, that's somebody else's.
Did you make any clothes for your children?
Yes, when my first son was born, I used to make all his clothes. There weren't shops you could buy baby clothes from, not like you can today. I used to make him little trousers with a bib on, long trousers with a bib. And I used to make them from his father's old working trousers. When his father had worn his trousers out at the knees, I used to cut out the best bits that were left and make Eddie some trousers. I made the girls' dresses. I made my daughter a coat. She once drew a picture of a coat that she wanted, and so I made her it, and it fit. Yes, made a lot of clothes for the children. Don't now, of course. Would you like to see some clothes that... Some of these are not the ones that I made, but they're similar. When a lady was pregnant years ago, all her friends got out their knitting needles and started knitting baby clothes for the baby. And this is the sort of thing they made. These are leggings. Now, this is what babies used to wear before they had baby grows. And that was a little elastic strap to put under the shoe. This was a little bonnet. I think this was probably a boy's bonnet because it's got these side flaps on it. This is a pair of little knitted knickers. And not elastic, got a draw thread in them. This is for a girl. It was called a bolero or a bolero. I don't quite know how it was. It was a little jacket that was shaped like that. This is made out of rabbit wool. My husband's father used to keep Angora rabbits, and he used to comb the rabbits, and the rabbit fur that came off he used to pack up and send it away to be spun. And it was just a little way of making a bit of extra money because they didn't have a lot. But it was so beautiful, this lovely soft feeling. They used to trim babies' clothes with it as well. Can you see that is Angora? Can you guess why they stopped making babies' clothes in this wool? Why?
Because
what do you
they're
think?
really young and they'd most probably chew it.
That's right, they sucked it. And then they got these furry bits in the throat, so it wasn't really a very good idea. These are some little mitts, little mittens. And a vest, little baby's vest. And some little booties. Pair of little booties with pom-poms on. Can you imagine that babies could keep these on their feet for very long? I think they would kick them off, wouldn't they? Usually people made babies' clothes in white. Why do you think they made them in white? Boys wore blue and girls wore pink. And before a baby was born, you didn't know whether you were going to have a boy or a girl in those days. So if they made the clothes in white, it was quite safe for either. Now this one has been knitted for a little girl because it's got the colour in it. A little coat. These were called matinee coats. And that was what you knitted for your baby. This is a little doll that I had when I was a little girl, and I knitted a little dress for it, and a little bonnet.
Did your children play with that?
Yes, I think our children did. It's survived. It's made of plastic. Now I've got one here that's made of celluloid. Do you remember? You won't know celluloid. This came before plastic. But it was quite dangerous because it was inflammable. Do you know what inflammable means? Yeah?
Does it mean that it'll burn quite
It burns easily, that's right, and it was dangerous. So when plastic came along, these were stopped making. And do you know what this is? What was it used for, do you think? It's got no legs inside it, look. Yes, Kieran? It was an egg cosy, you're right. You put this on to keep your egg warm. They made a bigger version of these to put on your teapot. What did you put it on your teapot for?
to keep it warm.
Keep your tea warm, that's right.